Sideswipe is the name of several characters in the Transformers universes. Because of trademark restrictions, toys of the character are sometimes marketed as Sideswipe. Transformers, Generation 1, Sideswipe in Italy, is described in his tech file as a brave but often brash warrior. He is almost as skilled as his twin brother Sunstreaker in combat, but is less ruthless. Sideswipe transformed into a red Lamborghini Countach, while his brother, Sunstreaker, transformed into a yellow Lamborghini Countach. Because of his jetpack, Sideswipe was one of few G1 Autobots with the ability to fly and capacity for spaceflight. Reception. In 1984, CBC's The Journal did a report on how some people considered Transformers like Sideswipe and other war toys too violent for children. Artist Pat Lee says his favorite Transformer is Sideswipe. Animated series, Sideswipe was part of the initial crew of Autobots aboard the Ark when it crash-landed on Earth 4 million years ago. He awakened along with his fellow Transformers in 1984, with both he and his brother being reformatted into Lamborghini sports cars. Sideswipe loaned Optimus Prime the use of his rocket pack when the Decepticons nearly escaped from Earth with a starship full of energon. Throughout seasons 1 and 2, Sideswipe was voiced by voice actor Michael Bell. Sideswipe and Sunstreaker often operated together. When antimatter-fueled Decepticons attacked the Ark on one occasion in the episode Roll for It, Sideswipe and Sunstreaker took to the air to battle with the incoming Seeker jets, in a rambunctious, if ultimately ineffective, display of jet judo. When investigating tremors that were shaking the Autobot base, Ironhide's scanner found some interesting objects inside a rock wall. Sideswipe, using his piston-like arms, helped Brawn remove the rock wall and found a cave full of dinosaur bones, the discovery of which would lead to the development of the Dinobots. Towards the end of 1985, Sideswipe is among the team of 5 Autobots who disguised themselves as the Stunticons. Penetrating the Decepticons' camp, the Autobots ran into trouble when the real Stunticons arrived, trying to prove their identities by forming Manasa. With a combination of wind charges, magnetic powers and Mirage's illusion-creating ability, the Autobots were able to appear as Manasa too, but the deception was soon revealed, though they were still able to thwart the Decepticons' plans. Another major role for Sideswipe was stopping the Combaticons' plot to pull the Earth into the Sun. Sideswipe and other Autobots and Decepticons traveled to Cybertron, and Sideswipe himself reversed the effects of the plot, saving the Earth. In an early script for the Transformers, the movie, there was a scene planned where Sideswipe, Red Alert and Trax hop off Ultra Magnus to attack Devastator, but they all flee and Red Alert is shot in the back and killed. Sideswipe appears in the first 2 episodes of the Japanese series Transformers, Headmasters, participating with Ultra Magnus, the Trainbots, and Prowl on a shootout against the Triple Changers, Soundwave and Sixshot. During a segment of this intense shootout, Sideswipe manages to hit Frenzy and later, after foiling a new Decepticon assault, has also a line. Books. Sideswipe appeared in the 1984 sticker and storybook Return to Cybertron, written by Suzanne and published by Marvel Books. Sideswipe was featured in the 1985 Transformers audiobook Autobots Lightning Strike. Sideswipe appeared in the 1986 story and coloring book The Lost Treasure of Cybertron by Marvel Books. Sideswipe was featured in the 1993 Transformers Generation 2 coloring book Decepticon Madness by Bud Simpson. Comics, 3 Hours Enterprises. Sideswipe returned in the pages of a BotCon-exclusive Transformers Universe comics. He was amongst the Autobot heroes of the Great War welcomed back to Cybertron. However, all of them were transported away by Unicron. Reformatted into a new body, he was forced to fight for Unicron's amusement. He ends up fighting his own brother. All were subsequently freed by the resurrected Optimus Primal, and Sideswipe went on to serve him as part of the new Autobot faction. Although Universe ended at issue number 3, the flashback of Optimus Prime would reveal what happened. In the final battle between the forces of Optimus Primal and Unicron, the Chaos Bringer had disappeared, with Primal's forces barely making it out. Sideswipe was among those seen escaping. Devil's Due Publishing, In this reimagining of the Generation 1 story, the Ark was discovered by the terrorist Cobra organization, and all the Transformers inside were reformatted into Cobra vehicles remotely controlled by the Televipers. In this storyline, Sideswipe and Sunstreaker both turned into Cobra Stingers. Destro attempted to use them in a battle against G.I. Joe, but the two of them were temporarily put out of commission by Wheeljack. They were later seen fighting the Decepticons on Cobra Island. Sideswipe reappeared in the third crossover series as part of the combined Autobot G.I. Joe force trying to rescue Optimus Prime. Sideswipe returned in the fourth crossover as part of a group led by Prowl working with former G.I. Joe leader Hawk to stop the spread of Cybertronian technology on Earth. After failing to apprehend Destro, the group relaxed on their ship, only to be attacked by the monster Pretenders, with Sideswipe being incapacitated. He was later shown being repaired. Dreamwave Productions. Before the civil war between the Autobots and the Decepticons, Sideswipe was a merchant. After the war broke out, he joined the Autobots. When Optimus Prime disappeared in an accident with a space bridge, the Autobots splintered into smaller factions. Sideswipe stayed with the main Autobot force, now under the leadership of Prowl. With the Autobots learned that the Decepticons were testing a new mobile command base at the Petrus Wharf, Sideswipe was part of a small investigation team led by Prowl. They discovered the mobile command base to be Trypticon and were forced to battle with little chance of success until the giant Decepticon was ordered to leave. Sometime after being reawakened on Earth 4 million years later, Sideswipe was aboard a ship named the Ark II created by the Autobots and their human allies to end the war on Earth and return to Cybertron. However, the ship was sabotaged and exploded shortly after takeoff. The human allies were killed, but Sideswipe and other Autobots were lost in the ocean. Sideswipe and the other lost Autobots were later found by Optimus Prime, who used the Matrix to revive them. Sideswipe fought in the battle against the Decepticons in San Francisco, attacking Soundwave with Sunstreaker. When Ultra Magnus came to Earth claiming that the Earth-based Autobots were Cybertronian criminals, Optimus Prime surrendered and returned to Cybertron with half of his force. Sideswipe was amongst those ordered to stay behind, now under the command of Jazz. Sideswipe and the other Autobots who remained on Earth were attacked by Starscream and Bruticus. Sideswipe fell in this battle and was later repaired by the Earth Defense Command. As part of a small group led by Jazz and Marissa Fairborn of the Earth Defense Command to search for missing soldiers and solve the mystery of the deserted city, Sideswipe found and battled the Insecticons along with his twin brother Sunstreaker. After defeating the Insecticons, the Autobots rejoined the other Autobots and were led by Prowl to the site of the future Autobot city, Earth. Fun Publications, Classic-verse. In Transformers Invasion, Sideswipe is among the Autobots in Canada who help get people to safety from an earthquake caused by shattered glass. Ultra Magnus using the Terminus blade. Wing of Honor, Longhaul appears in a flash-forward by Fun Publications. In the year 2005, Devastator attacks Autobot City. He is opposed by Ultra Magnus, Sideswipe, Red Alert and Trax. Firing every weapon they have, the Autobots are able to force Devastator to break apart into the individual Constructicons. Now outnumbered, the Autobots retreated. Red Alert is killed covering the withdrawal, as Megatron watches. These events and others are related to Jacques' by Runabout and Run Amok in 2013. Sideswipe appears in the story Generation 2, Rudy, where he is among the reinforcements from Autobot City to respond to the Decepticon attack at the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. Once there, the Autobots are able to defeat the Decepticons, but during the fight the Autobots are exposed to refined Forrestonite, which enhances and mutates Cybertronian systems. He gets enhanced to his Generation 2 form. Spark commands an Autobot shuttle crewed by Blaze, Hubcap, Sideswipe, Streetstar and Windbreaker into space, where they intercept a distress call from Spike Witwicky on the planet Nebulos. When the Autobots arrive on Nebulos, they meet Spike and Carly Witwicky, Chip Chase and the Autobots Brainstorm, Chromedome, Crosshairs and Highbrow, who inform them that the Nebulan scientist High-Q is missing. They learn from Haikyuu's assistant Hi-Test that Haikyuu had security monitors and through them discover the scientist was kidnapped by the Decepticons Runabout and Runamuck. IDW Publishing, Sideswipe made his first IDW Publishing appearance in the Spotlight issue on Galvatron. Assigned to Hound's unit on Cybertron guarding Thunderwing's body. Chafing under Hound's command due to Sunstreaker going missing on Earth, Sideswipe clashed with his superior, even going over his head to call Optimus Prime on Earth, being reprimanded as a result. However, the matter was rendered moot when the mysterious Galvatron appeared, killing Leadfoot. An enraged Sideswipe blasted him, and was blasted aside as a result. While the rest of Hound's unit engaged Galvatron, Sideswipe recovered and blew apart Galvatron's head with a single full-powered shot. As Hound chastised him, the undead Galvatron recovered and rendered the whole unit unconscious with one blast, before leaving with Thunderwing. Sideswipe and his unit were redeployed to Earth under Optimus Prime's orders in issue number 1 of the Transformers, Devastation, but were diverted to Garrus 9 following the Decepticons' abduction of the Monstructor components. Sideswipe has appeared among the Autobots on Cybertron in All Hail Megatron. He now appears to have a form based on the Universe Classic Series Sideswipe toy. Marvel Comics. In the original Marvel Transformers comics, Sideswipe's role was largely similar to that of the animated series, serving as a loyal warrior under Optimus Prime. Sideswipe joined the list of the long-term injured during the Dinobot hunt. He was charged, along with Bluestreak and Huffer, with bringing in the powerful Dinobot, Grimlock. Unfortunately, the party found the mentally ill Grimlock locked in vicious combat with Sludge, who had been planted there by the Decepticons. Sideswipe was seriously injured while trying to contain the situation, but managed at least to put out a distress call, alerting Prowl and Optimus Prime. He appeared to avoid deactivation by the underbase-powered Starscream. He was not seen again after issue number 50 of the U.S. comic. He appeared again in the Generation 2 comics as part of a raiding party under Grimlock that was outvoted and captured by the forces of Jaaxus. He was freed by Prime, and later appeared BATTLNG The Swarm. Toys, Generation 1 Deluxe Car Sideswipe. Sideswipe's toy was originally part of Attacker, a toy line called Diaclone before Hasbro took some of the toys to use for Transformers. Sideswipe was one of the first Transformers to be released. Because they were both Lamborghinis, Sideswipe and Sunstreaker were characterized as fraternal twins. The tech specs and TF Universe profiles for Sideswipe describe the Sunstreaker toy. The rocket backpack describes Sunstreaker's engine, which is on his upper back in robot mode, and the shoulder-mounted flares refer to the two yellow pods that mount on Sunstreaker's shoulders. The mold used for the original Sideswipe also used for the first Generation 2 Sideswipe, and the Japanese exclusive Autobots Tiger Track, Clampdown and Deep Cover. The Japanese variants are based on original variants used in the Diaclone line. The police car that became Clampdown was the basis for the Fire Escort Red Alert. Generation 1 Action Master Sideswipe with Vanguard. As part of Europe's continuing exclusive Transformer toys, Sideswipe returned as an Action Master, along with his new partner, the battle droid Vanguard. Vanguard transformed into a backpacks for Sideswipe to wear, which came equipped with a protective double-barreled helmet. Generation 2 Autobot car Sideswipe, slightly remolded and recolored black, Sideswipe was re-released in the Transformers Generation 2 toy line. Generation 2 GoBot Sideswipe. Sideswipe was released a second time in Generation 2 as a blue Lamborghini Diablo, a recolor of an Autobot named Firecracker as part of the GoBots line. This toy was later recolored as Robots in Disguise REV, Universe Spy Changer Sideswipe. First announced in Previews magazine for December 2002 were a set of 5 Autobot Spy Changers, Wheeljack, Sideswipe, Trailbreaker, Prowl and Mirage. Smallest Transformers Lamba. In Japan, a miniature version of Sideswipe was released as part of the Smallest Transformers line. Later remolded into Smallest Alert, Universe Deluxe Sideswipe. After a long absence, the original Sideswipe returns with a new toy. This time it is a BotCon exclusive, a remold of the Robots in Disguise toy Prowl. He came packaged with his now identical twin Sunstreaker. both turned into Lamborghini Diablos. Alternators Sideswipe. Sideswipe was the second Transformer to be released in the Alternators Binaltech toy line by Hasbro Takara. In the Binaltech line, Sideswipe is named Lamba. For simplicity's sake he is referred to as Sideswipe for this article. Sideswipe's alternate mode is a Dodge Viper SRT-10. The mold for this figure was also used for Dead End and Sunstreaker. Generation 1 reissue Sideswipe. The original Sideswipe toy was reissued in 2005. Originally planned to be a Toys R Us exclusive, the line was cancelled before Sideswipe was released. With the toys having already been made, they were instead sold through KB stores as a discount price. Titanium Sideswipe, a 3-inch tall non-transforming toy based on his Alternators form. Universe Classic Series Deluxe Sideswipe, part of the first wave of the Transformers Universe Classic Series line, this figure is a modern redesign of G1 Sideswipe, faithfully keeping his form as a Lamborghini while incorporating the detail and articulation technology of current Transformers toys. He is a red redeco of Sunstreaker with a different head sculpt and the upper torso reversed to have the car's front end as his chest. The hands have also been swapped to properly match Sideswipe's robot mode. On the back of his car mode, his license plate reads, Swipe. A figure was first announced along with Sunstreaker by Hasbro at BotCon 2007. Concept art of both was displayed by Hasbro at the 2007 San Diego Comic-Con International. On January 23, 2008, the Transformers Collectors Club revealed pictures of both his vehicle and robot mode to members only. This picture was quickly reprinted on the Toy Fair magazine website. A packaged version of this toy first appeared on eBay in March 2008. The mold for this figure was also used for He&K Generations Red Alert, as well as the BotCon 2010 exclusive Breakdown and the Collectors Club exclusive Punch Counterpunch. He&K CO9 Deluxe Lamba, the Japanese version of the Universe Classic Series Sideswipe by Takara Tomy has the flare launcher and rear spoiler remolded in chrome silver. His license plate reads, Lamba. Unlike the Universe version, this figure is missing the engine attachment. Timelines Deluxe Sideswipe, this toy was made for the customizing class at BotCon 2010. It is the Universe Deluxe Classic Series toy repainted in G2 colors. Masterpiece MP12 Lamba. On March 2012, Takara Tomy released a teaser picture of Lamba as the 12th entry in the upscale Masterpiece toy series. A figure retains his original Lamborghini Countach LP500S alternate mode, which fits inside MP10 Convoy Optimus Prime's trailer. The mold for this figure will also be used for MP14 Red Alert. Generations Deluxe Sideswipe, a remold of Generations Jazz. This toy was reproposed in the IDW Publishing comics as Generation 1 Sideswipe. Transformers, Robots in Disguise. As a release of an unused Generation 2 GoBots mold, the name Sideswipe is reused for the first time on an unrelated toy to the original. This toy did not receive any characterization and did not appear in the show or any other fiction. Toys, Robots in Disguise Spy Changer Sideswipe, a small transformable figure based on the unreleased Generation 2 GoBot Rumble. Bundled with Spy Changer Prowl 2. This figure was later repainted as Transformers, Universe Silver Streak. Transformers, Armada, originally called Stepper in the Japanese series Micron Legend, he was renamed Sideswipe when Hasbro released the series in America. Transforming into a blue Nissan Skyline, Sideswipe's alternate mode is as realistic as an Armada toy can get to an actual vehicle. However, his robot mode is considered by many to be very poorly designed and is the subject of much ridicule. Note: early packaging of Sideswipe spelled his name without a space, but it was later added. According to online posts by Hasbro employees, there was a mix-up in the naming of Sideswipe and Minicon Nightbeat, and the original intention was for them to have each other's name, making this toy a true homage to the original Nightbeat. Animated series, Sideswipe first appears in the Armada episode Past, Part 1, as a rookie in Optimus Prime's squad. He is rather ridiculous and awkward youth. In the animated series it is revealed that once he had been saved from Decepticon execution by Blur, and has traveled to Earth to join him at last. But Blur is not too glad to have such a subordinate. So, by Prime's consent, he charges Hotshot to take care of Sideswipe. Initially Hotshot is displeased very much that he has to fuss over such a misfit, but he begins to train him, however. When Hotshot's former friend Wheeljack arrives and attacks him, Sideswipe does his best to defend his trainer. And when Sideswipe himself is taken a prisoner by Wheeljack, Hotshot immediately races to his rescue. Though the conflagration threatens to consume them all, Hotshot abandons the fight to save Sideswipe, successfully getting him out just in time. Since this moment Sideswipe hero worships his new friend, much to Hotshot's amusement, though the latter sometimes feels annoyed with such enthusiastic displays of friendship and even tries to get away from his admirer. Sideswipe always did everything to prove his fighting skill to everyone in practice, but he never had become a great warrior, however. Nevertheless, he proved to be a real boon for the Autobots because of his good understanding of the computers. Later, Sideswipe served as Hotshot's most loyal soldier when that one briefly took command of the Autobots after Optimus Prime's death. Dreamwave Productions, Sideswipe also appeared in Dreamwave's Transformers, Armada comic, with a much lesser role. He first appeared in issue number 14. He was one of a team of Autobots under Jetfire who investigated odd space bridge activity at the Decepticon headquarters, unaware it had been taken over by the Heralds of Unicron. Bludgeon was still present, and stalked Jetfire's team. Sideswipe survived relatively unscathed, unlike Blur and Dropshot, and helped to eventually destroy the Samurai Decepticon. Sideswipe was last seen in issue number 18 of the Armada series and did not make any appearances in the Transformers, Energon comic series. Toys, Armada Deluxe Sideswipe with Nightbeat. Armada Sideswipe is a homage to Generation 1 Nightbeat, the character his Minicon is named after. Armada Sideswipe was remolded into Universe Treadshot, Universe Oil Slick and used in the Cybertron line as the Decepticon Run-Amok. Transformers, Timelines. This Sideswipe is an alternate universe version of the Generation 1 character from the BotCon exclusive Shattered Glass comic, in which the Decepticons are on the side of good and the Autobots are evil. Although initially an evil Autobot, Sideswipe was betrayed by Optimus Prime, who killed Sideswipe's mentor Drench. Sideswipe repainted himself in Drench's colors while bearing a scar across his chest, and joined the Decepticons to avenge his mentor's death. He is partnered with the Decepticon Micromaster Whisper, who he refers to as his Minicon. Fun Publications, Sideswipe appears as a member of Megatron's forces in the Transformers, Timeline story Shattered Glass by Fun Publications. He befriends a lost Autobot named Cliffhumper, a traveler from another dimension where the Autobots are heroic, and helps the Decepticons in the attack on the Ark launch site. Sideswipe appears in the fiction Dungeons & Dinobots, a text-based story. He defends the Archer fuel dump from an Autobot attack and later helps capture the Dinobots Slugfist and Garai for the Decepticons. Cliffhumper and Sideswipe then track Grimlock to an ancient crypt, which ends up being the home of the life-creating computer known as the Omega Terminus. They are joined by the Autobots Rodimus and Blur, who are also hunting Grimlock. The enemies end up joining forces to fight Grimlock, the Terminus and a host of zombie Transformers, including Drench and this world's Cliffhumper. They escape, but their memories of the event are suppressed by the Terminus. In Do-Over, Sideswipe is present when Megatron announces the impending launch of the Nemesis, designed to stop the Autobot warship known as the Ark. The Nemesis launches after the Ark, and after a brief battle the Nemesis is shot down and crashes on Earth, with the crew escaping in stasis pods. Although not directly depicted, Sideswipe is a member of the crew of the Nemesis. In Blitzwing Bop, Sideswipe, Bombshell and Blitzwing stop a scheme by Elita 1 and Brawn to make attack drones from human cars by implanting control devices in the cars in a car wash. Toys, Timelines Deluxe Sideswipe with Whisper, a redeco of Armada Wheeljack with the colors of Generation 2 Drench. As with the original Wheeljack figure, Sideswipe has a deep scar molded across the Autobot symbol on his chest. He came packaged with the Decepticon Minicon Micromaster Whisper. This toy was inspired by a cancelled Universe-drenched toy Hasbro only produced as a prototype. Live-action films. Sideswipe appears in the second and third of the live-action film series. He transforms into a Chevrolet Corvette Stingray concept in 2009 and a Chevrolet Centennial Corvette convertible in 2011. He has two-wheeled feet like Bone Crusher from the first film. He is armed with two retractable Cybertanium arm blades on each of his wrists in robot mode, along with a pair of guns and a machine gun on his back. Early concept art of Sideswipe portrayed him as being red, but he ended up silver, presumably due to director Michael Bay's notion that the color red does not photograph well on film. His Hasbro Battle bio states that he is 15 ft tall and that he's a master in almost every form of martial arts on Cybertron. IDW Publishing. Sideswipe first appeared in Transformers: Alliance No. 4 as one of the Autobots who responded to Optimus Prime's call to Earth. He joined with Optimus' team as part of NEST. Sideswipe was spotlighted in Tales of the Fallen No. 2, which revealed the Autobot trained under Ironhide, and was charged with protecting an Autobot colony from the Decepticons. The Decepticon Demolisher attacked and killed all but Sideswipe, laying waste to the colony. Sideswipe vowed revenge, and upon arriving on Earth, chased after his nemesis without care for any innocent in the crossfire. Ironhide arrived and tried to stop Sideswipe, but it was only when Ironhide called Sideswipe no better than the enemy did Sideswipe stand down, and Demolisher escaped. Sideswipe appears in Transformers: Nefarious No. 1, set months after the events of the 2009 film. Alice steals an RV in Seattle and is chased by Skids and Mudflap, who keep her occupied until Sideswipe arrives and defeats her. She is taken to NEST headquarters on Diego Garcia to be examined by Ratchet. Sideswipe was disgusted by her decision to disguise herself as a human. Movie plot: Sideswipe first appears in The Chase in Shanghai, China, pursuing the Decepticon sideways. Using his wheeled feet to maneuver, Sideswipe somersaulted over him while shooting at him, then threw one of his arm blades into the front of Sideways vehicle mode. As he landed, Sideswipe reattached the blade and forced it lengthwise down Sideways' body, cutting him in half. He was also seen in the fight against the Decepticons after Optimus Prime was killed by Megatron as Bumblebee and the twins escaped with Sam. Sideswipe was surrounded by the human military and forced to go back to the Autobot base alongside Ironhide, Ratchet, Arcee and Jolt. They arrived in Egypt and fought against many Decepticons. Sideswipe was the first to spot Sam and watched as Optimus Prime was resurrected. Sideswipe was brushed aside by the Fallen when he teleported in front of them. Sideswipe returns in Dark of the Moon as one of the main Autobots. He accompanied Bumblebee, Kay, and Dino when they investigated a nuclear facility in the Middle East. Later he joined Dino Mirage and Bumblebee in accompanying the humans to find out more about the space race. Sideswipe helped Bumblebee and Dino Mirage fight the three Dreads on the highway, who were after Sentinel Prime, using his Stealth Force weapons to shoot at Hatchet. He then helped Ironhide finish off Crowbar and Crankcase in a Mexican standoff as Sideswipe called it. Sideswipe was expelled from Earth along with the other Autobots and was thought to have perished when Starscream destroyed the Xanthium. He participated in the final battle in Chicago. He was captured by the Decepticons and witnessed the death of Kay Wheeljack. He almost shared Kay Wheeljack's fate but escapes after Wheelie and Brains crash the Decepticon ship. He helps Bumblebee and Ratchet fire at incoming Decepticons, and briefly fights Sentinel Prime alongside them, but he is shot in the shoulder by Sentinel Prime. Sideswipe is among the surviving Autobots at the end of the film. Sideswipe doesn't return in Age of Extinction. It is possible that Sideswipe was killed by Cemetery Wind and Lockdown, and between Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction, Cyber Missions, Sideswipe is shown to be helping Optimus Prime against Megatron. Later he fights against Barricade and Frenzy. Afterwards he helps Ratchet against Lockdown. Sideswipe is later seen with Ratchet transporting Energon when they are attacked by Starscream and Mindwipe. Video games: Sideswipe is playable character in the PSP version of Transformers, the game, the video game tie-in to the 2007 live-action Transformers film. He is a part of the Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen character and map pack plus DLC pack that was released on August 27 on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. He is also a playable character in the PSP version and the Autobot Nintendo DS version, which is during challenge modes only. Sideswipe is among the characters who appear in the Transformers Cyberverse Battle Builder game. Sideswipe is only a playable character in the multiplayer section of the PS3 and Xbox 360 games Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen and Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Toys: all toys of this character are officially licensed from General Motors. Revenge of the Fallen Legends Sideswipe, a new mold of Sideswipe. Also redecoed in red is Swerve. This toy was later packaged with Autobot Legends Mudflap and Decepticon Deluxe Fearswhoop in a special Walmart exclusive 3-pack. Revenge of the Fallen Legends Bluer Steel Sideswipe, a bluish-grey redeco of the Legends figure. Revenge of the Fallen Fast Action Battlers Battle Blade Sideswipe, a deluxe-sized figure designed with easy transformation for younger children. Revenge of the Fallen Fast Action Battlers Nightblade Sideswipe, a dark grey redeco of the Fast Action Battlers figure. Revenge of the Fallen Gravity Bots Sideswipe, a new toy made for younger children. Instantly transforms to robot when tilted upwards. Revenge of the Fallen RPM's Battle Chargers Sideswipe, a toy car made for younger children. Features pullback action and sound effects. The top section pops open to reveal the robot mode when the car hits an object. Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Sideswipe, a deluxe-sized figure that transforms from Chevrolet Corvette Stingray concept to robot and features retractable blades on his forearms. Mech-Alive feature consists of hydraulics on his legs. A figure was remolded with a new head and a red redeco as Swerve. Revenge of the Fallen Human Alliance Sideswipe with Tech Sergeant Epps, a fully detailed figure that comes with a 2-inch posable Sergeant Robert Epps figure. Robot mode features retractable battle mask and spinning blades. The Epps figure can fit on the seats in Sideswipe's car mode or be placed in strategic areas to man Sideswipe's auxiliary weapons in robot mode. Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Strike Mission Sideswipe, a repaint of the original deluxe figure with red tinted windows, a black stripe which races across his door, and an EST logo on each door. Transformers Deluxe Sidearm Sideswipe, a totally different mold and transformation compared to the previous deluxe figure with red flames on the car mode's front end. The forearm blades are replaced with pistols. As a result, the side panels that formed the blades are now part of the backpack in robot mode. Autobot Alliance AAO6 Deluxe Sidearm Sideswipe, the Japanese version of Sidearm Sideswipe by Takara Tomy emits the red flames and has the windows molded in smoke ray. Transformers Hunters Rumble Deluxe Sideswipe, a slight redeco with light blue highlights. Bundled with Barricade. Transformers Human Alliance Shadow Blade Sideswipe with Michaela Baines, a black-silver redeco of the Human Alliance figure with a figure of Michaela that wears a black leather jacket and blue jeans. Dark of the Moon Cyberverse Legion Sideswipe, an all-new Legion mold of Sideswipe. Dark of the Moon MechTech Deluxe Sideswipe, an all-new deluxe mold of Sideswipe with a different transformation. His MechTech weapon is a giant blaster with a retractable blade. Unlike the previous figures, this version is molded in grey and not painted in metallic silver. The mold for this figure is also used for the Decepticon Dark Steel as in homage to Quickstrike from the Transformers: Beast Wars series. Dark of the Moon Deluxe Sidearm Sideswipe, a Walmart exclusive redeco of the 2010 Sidearm Sideswipe figure in blue with yellow stripes as an homage to the Generation 2 GoBots Sideswipe toy. The figure's car mode is decorated with a large white Autobot symbol on the hood and the number 04 on the doors, roof and rear end. Other homage decals on the car mode include Sunbro, Lithonian Drivetrain, Rat Traps, McAdams, and a Trans-Tech symbol. Dark of the Moon Flash Freeze Assault Human Alliance Sideswipe, a grey redeco of the Human Alliance figure with black and white stripes, bundled with the Decepticon Ice Pick and Sergeant Chaos. Dark of the Moon The Scan Series Deluxe Sideswipe, a Toys R Us exclusive remold of the Revenge of the Fallen deluxe figure with light blue highlights in the middle before fading into clear plastic, simulating the effect of vehicle scanning. Dark of the Moon Robo Power GoBots Sideswipe, a transforming toy car aimed at younger children. The pullback mechanism transforms the car into a rolling robot while in motion. Non-transforming merchandise, Revenge of the Fallen Powerbots Sideswipe, a non-transformable robot toy designed for younger children. Features light and sound effects, with the wheeled feet emitting tire screeching sounds. Revenge of the Fallen RPM Speed Series Sideswipe, a die-cast toy of Sideswipe in car mode in the same size as Hot Wheels or Matchbox cars. An illustration of his robot mode is molded on the underside of the car. Due to licensing issues, this incarnation of Sideswipe is not a Chevrolet Corvette Stingray concept. Instead, it is a cross between a Mitsubishi Eclipse and an Aston Martin DB9. Revenge of the Fallen RPM Sideswipe vs Recluse, a redeco of a PM Sideswipe with red stripes. Bundled with the Decepticon Recluse. Revenge of the Fallen RPM Sideswipe, a die-cast toy of Sideswipe, but in robot mode and in a running pose. Transformers, Prime, books, Sideswipe appears in the novels Transformers, Exodus, Transformers, Exiles, and Transformers, Retribution. Games, Sideswipe is one of the playable Autobots in the 2010 video game Transformers, War for Cybertron. He, along with Optimus and Bumblebee, are captured by the Decepticons and taken to Con prison as part of an elaborate plan to free Zeta Prime and other imprisoned Autobots. The trio battle Soundwave and his minions on their way to rescuing Zeta Prime. Sideswipe also appears in its sequel Transformers, Fall of Cybertron, where he helps get Jazz and Cliffhammer to the Sea of Rust to search for Grimlock. Sideswipe appears in Transformers, Rise of the Darkspark as a playable character in single-player mode and an unlockable character in the new Escalation mode. In the game, he helps Ironhide retrieve the Darkspark before the Decepticons do, and deliver it to Optimus Prime. Animated series, Sideswipe will appear as one of the main characters in the Transformers, Robots in Disguise, the upcoming sequel series to Transformers, Prime. He will be recruited by Bumblebee in order to combat a new Decepticon threat on Earth. He will be voiced by Darren Criss. Toys, Generations Deluxe Sideswipe, a remold of Generations Jazz. This toy was repurposed in the IDW Publishing comics as Generation 1 Sideswipe. Transformers Animated, Sideswipe is one of the BotCon 2011 exclusive figures, painted in his Generation 2 black and red colors. Fun Publications, after the events of Transformers Animated, the Stunticons set up a stunt convoy show in the city of Con and used it as cover to attempt to break Megatron out of his detention at Trypticon. Their efforts were thwarted thanks to the efforts of Cheetah, Optimus Prime and Sideswipe. The Stunticons were placed in detention with Megatron and an attempt to rescue them was made by the Decepticons Blot, Mindwipe, Oil Slick, Skullpole, Skybite and Striker. His tech spec appeared on a lithograph sold at BotCon 2011. Toys, Timelines Deluxe Sideswipe, a BotCon exclusive black non-green redeco of Transformers Animated Deluxe Rodimus Minor with breakdowns head sculpt. KREO Transformers, Sideswipe is an Autobot who turns into a car. Fictional biography, I'm the best sword fighter in the universe. You heard me. In the universe. You need something sliced, diced, or just chopped in half, you give me a call. I'm the secret weapon of the Autobots. Well, except that the Decepticons know about me. Hobbies, sharpening my swords. Cutting things apart. Checking my swords to make sure they're sharp. Most prized possession, my swords. Duh. Greatest fear, anything my swords can't cut. Which is nothing, so I'm fearless. Animated series, Kron Sideswipe appeared in the animated short Last Bottom Standing. Kron Sideswipe appeared in the animated short Bot Stars. Kron Sideswipe appeared in the animated short The Big Race. Kron Sideswipe appeared in the animated short A Gift for Megatron. Toys, KREO Transformers Sideswipe, a Lego-like building block kit of Sideswipe with 220 pieces to assemble in either car or robot mode. Comes with 2 Kron figures of Sideswipe and a human driver. References: Bellomo, Mark. Transformers Identification and Price Guide. Krauss Publications. PA 23. ISBN A978-0-89689-445-7. External links: Sideswipe at the Transformers Wiki, Sideswipe galleries at Sabertron.com, Sideswipe at TFU.info.